Let's talk about Spurs Liverpool. We'll have to take a break quickly, but just talk to me about Liverpool. I mean, going 3 goals up and then completely losing it mentally, allowing Spurs back into this game before getting a fictitious goal to finish this off. You want to make Europe, you can't afford to be making these slips.
Yeah, I think they were a bit complacent. But I think it's more so they got... I think I would rather say it's rather on Spurs, because I think Spurs were so lackadaisical and so lacking in spirit in the first 15, 20 minutes that Liverpool thought the game was easier than it should be. I think it made them start to underestimate who they were playing, because if you watch the second half of the first half and the second half, Spurs had better chances. I think Liverpool did not turn up mostly in the second half. In fact, if Lucas Moura doesn't make that horrible back pass, we'd be talking about how
Liverpool
maybe Spurs should have won this game. No, I would have been saying maybe Spurs, because it wasn't showing the highlights, but Son hit the post twice.
And
I think Romero also hit the woodwork. So it's not like Spurs were not coming close. They were really putting pressure. They were pushing for it. So I think Liverpool got the hot start. And the truth is, how often do you score 3 goals at home and not win? I think more often than not, if you're a team and you score 3 goals at home, you get the result. So I think when you score them that early, I think they got lulled into a false sense of security. They got a bit complacent, but they got away with it. But I think the truth is, Liverpool will not lose many home games. The home games are not the issue. But if they play like that away, they will lose. Because I think teams are less forgiving when they are at home and they go down. I think that's even what gave Spurs the momentum midweek against United. They went down 2 goals. They were at home and said, we can't let this happen to us at home. And to go back to Spurs, I think that's a problem they have. That unless they are kind of poked, unless they are kind of slapped, they don't wake up. Because we've seen it, and this has not been a Ryan Mason or Christian.
It's been throughout the season.
It's been throughout the season. You can't go anywhere if you can only remember that you need to score a goal when they score you.
And then maybe, I don't know whether you go to the break. There's something I want to say on the Liverpool.
Let me just go for the break and come back, and then we'll just expand this conversation a lot more. We'll talk a lot more about the Liverpool Spurs. Liverpool have made tactical tweaks. I was talking about Jurgen Klopp never ever changing his tactics. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and then we'll continue the conversation. Welcome back. This is Scorecard here on Citi TV. We're discussing Liverpool Spurs. Coach, tactical tweaks. From 4-3-3 to finally something different.
Yes, to finally something different, but different not being done in the proper way. That is what the issue is. You see, Pep Guardiola did something, and almost every modern manager is trying to mimic whatever he did. But he does that regularly, and his teams are used to it.
Okay.
What does he do? He actually tends to ask one of his fullbacks, usually until recently, the right fullback has been the one to move into midfield, or one of his centre backs to move into midfield. But anytime he does that, the defensive shape becomes a back 3. So currently, anytime he asks John Stones to step into midfield, he's kept Diaz, he's kept Akanji, and he's kept Ake as the back 3 in position. Unlike the way he does his, the one that Jurgen Klopp is doing with Alexander-Arnold is a back 2. And I looked at it before the game, and I told myself that, look, if I was the head coach of Spurs, I will wait. The moment Alexander moves into midfield, that will be the gap we will exploit, because Klopp is not using a back 3. He's also asking Robertson to go forward. And therefore, Konate covering Alexander-Arnold, and then Van Dijk covering Robertson. But because Arnold is not bumping forward on the touchline and rather moving infield, there's a huge gap there. And therefore, if you look at the first goal that Spurs scored, when they won the ball, it was a one-time pass through the middle. And that actually drew Van Dijk out of position. And if you look at the manner what Perisic did to Van Dijk, we all saw it on the clip.
Top speed.
He was running at top because the gap was huge and he needed to close the gap.
To add to that, Konate was watching Son, because Son usually plays on the left.
Exactly.
And Son had come inside.
So Konate
followed Son, and Perisic just went.
Yes.
So that's where Harvey Elliott should have. But Javier Elliott, we've seen this a lot with him when he plays. He's not
defensively. He will not add anything.
And we said it before on radio that
that's right.
That Javier Elliott, Curtis Jones, Fabinho
combo.
Fabinho will have to do a lot of running to cover because those two are not. So if Henderson was playing, maybe Henderson is a bit more aware and he tracks Perisic. So because of that, so that was really where they could have lost it. If you notice, second goal, Son is very free again.
Alexander-Arnold went to sleep. Konate went. So you see, it is good to tweak.
Yeah.
But of course, against the quality opposition, he can't do that because Spurs really did expose that aspect of asking Arnold to move into midfield and not doing a back three.
I think it will work. It won't work as well with teams that play a back four.
Exactly.
That is what I think will work for them because I think a team that plays a back three, where Son is what the normal winger will do. So Konate will just follow Son, and that fullback is not as committed to running for it.
Exactly.
Because I think them playing a back three, they decided that okay, we'll go 1-on-1 versus Salah, Gakpo, and who started on the left? Diaz. Yes, exactly. We'll go 1-on-1. And if you saw in the first half, they're going 1-on-1. It didn't work. That's part of the reason they gave away so many goals. So I think a team with a back four will be less ambitious with their runners. So Liverpool will get away with it because most teams play a back four.
That's right.
But they'll get away with it again. But I think part of it's also trying to make a mid-season tweak like that. Yeah. It's quite difficult. So it takes time to kind of figure it out.
During the preseason, they will practice it a bit more. But I'm very of the view that if he's really going to do that, then he has to be a back three anytime he acts. Because even look at Ten Hag. Anytime he asks Wan-Bissaka or Malacia or whoever, there's a back three.
I'm more surprised he doesn't ask Fabinho to drop
in the middle of the two centre backs.
In between Van Dijk and Konate. That makes more sense to me. And
because Fabinho is actually even comfortable playing centre half sometimes.
Yes.
That would have made, or that would have been a clearer picture, or the most easiest way to do it. But because it is not as a result of the transition, you see, when they are transiting, they may not feel the impact of that.
Yeah.
But the moment the transition is done and Fabinho moves into midfield, because once you transit, he has to move into midfield to play with Alexander like John Stones normally does. So when you are doing that, that is where, if Arnold is the one going to step in, then you need to restrict Robertson from going forward so that when Konate shifts and Van Dijk shifts, Robertson will also shift and make it a back three.
I think part of it too is also Elliott and Salah were a bit too high. Because Elliott, the truth is, Elliott is more of a winger number 10 type. So him playing in midfield is just a way that, okay, we can see this guy is talented.
Yeah,
he has to play.
Like has to bodies in the middle, but doesn't really do a lot of defensive work.
And that's where I think you would need a new midfielder who's a bit more comfortable, kind of dropping deeper and helping with the defense. Because I think Elliott is Salah's long-term replacement, in my opinion. I think that's where his future. I don't think his future is in midfield.
No, I rather think he would do better in midfield when he's got two DMs behind him and he's playing in the pocket.
Yeah.
Because he's not the very pacey player.
And he's not a great dribbler either.
But we've seen players like
he may not be able to outrun.
Too quick.
No, but he may not be able to.
More silky.
Mahrez is more skillful.
He's more.
Elliott is not as skillful.
No, but you see, Elliott is what, 20, 21?
Yeah, but
I think he can still add some dimension.
You're banking on a lot of improvement.
Don't get me wrong. I get what coach is saying, but if there's two DMs behind,
if there's two DMs and he's in the pocket,
and that's more of a number 10, which is still a bit of a forward. But for me, if he's supposed to play as a midfielder in a 4-3-3, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You rather stick him out.
He definitely, I think playing him wide is a better option.
Let me read some of your messages that have been coming.